Okay, the second part is our stage, and we are going to, you can see I've just taken this off here because when I test the game I don't want the sound to be going on all the time. What we're going to do now is we're going to go into the second part of the game, and we're going to make it a little bit more complicated by getting more points and actually having a quest. So we're going to start asking questions. I forgot to mention that to give our players something, a little introduction, I've put when green flag clicked, say, hey you, search for the colour blocks, telling the characters kind of something what they've got to do. You don't have to put this in. Remember, you don't have to put instructions in, but it's kind of nice if somebody's, particularly someone in year 2 or year 1 is playing this game, they need to know what to do. Okay, when we come to level 2, the first thing you'll notice is that at the very end of the last game, when you clicked on the door, Red Boy disappears. So we need to give Red Boy another message. So we have to say when we receive. So I'm going to put this down here. I'm going to try and keep them as neat as possible. Level 2, we want Red Boy to show. But if you have a look where he is, he's down here somewhere, so perhaps we want him over here and pointing left, so we'll do that. Okay, just have a look at the code that I put in here. So when I receive level 2, which is going to show this screen, this background, go to 195 y minus 90, which is over there. You can see him in the top right hand corner. Switch to costume Red Boy 3, so I just change his costume. I think it's a bit pixelated, the other one, so, and also this screen, he's about the right size really for this screen. Point and direction left and show. There we go. So in this part of the game, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new sprite, but this time it's just going to be very simply a black dot. And what I'm going to do is put the black dot into the seagull's eye, because what I want to do is very simply just make the black dot appear and show, and as soon as we receive level 2, I'm going to put it onto Red Boy's broadcast here. As soon as he shows, this black dot is going to be the seagull's eye, and we're going to make it look like the seagull is talking. We could also do another one down here where they have a conversation, and it will give a clue or a riddle or a quest for the player to go and find something in this level here. So they've got to look pretty sharply. So very simply, I just made the sprite, and you can see that I'm going to rename this seagull's eye. So just rename the seagull's eye, and you can see how small this is. It's very tricky to pick up, but I'm going to go and drop it on the seagull's eye right there, so it's camouflaged. Okay, so I just made a broadcast for the seagull's eye, and I'm going to put it down here. So you can see broadcast seagull message 1, and we go into here. I'm going to put a message in here when I receive. Oops, we don't want that. When I receive seagull message. Okay, if you just have a look at the script now, here I've got when seagull message 1, I've said show, and when the game begins, because we don't want this black dot appearing anywhere, it could hide, but when you go to a new level, it could be in the way of something. So when flag clicked, hide, and then when I receive seagull message 1, I just said, hey George, look at Red Boy. And then I'm going to broadcast something else under here to make the other seagull talk. So here I just made seagull message 2, and then over here I've got another one which is the eye of the other seagull. So when green flag clicked, hide again, and when I receive seagull message 2, I want to show, wait for 4 seconds, and then reply back to Bob, the other seagull. Let's go and try that out, see how that's going to work. So we're going to wait 3 seconds, and then broadcast this message. And then this conversation will carry on with Red Boy. If you wonder why I've made it wait this time, if I click into here, I said, "Hey George, look at Red Boy for 4 seconds." I've given plenty of time to say this, and for the player to read it. I'm going to wait 3 seconds. After that, broadcast. I mean, it could wait 2 seconds if you want. We could put that down to 2 seconds if you wish. The wait button, the wait block is there. In that time, I've made another block. When green flag clicked, make sure it's it's hidden. Sorry. When I receive seagull message 2, which is from here, show, pop up, wait for 4 seconds, because that'll give some time for this to speak, and then say that for 4 seconds. And then our next job is to have a conversation with this, have a to and fro, and then we're going to go and put some blocks into one of the cameras after a bit of a riddle. Okay, this is where it can get slightly complicated. So you may have to pause this at some point and return and rewind it, and then play it again, and rewind it and play it again. What we've done is, so that there is some interactivity between the player and the game itself, so that they feel like they're actually in the game, is we started to have this conversation between the two seagulls and Red Boy, who's going to get the clues from the seagulls. So when we send seagull message 1, "Hey George, look at Red Boy," waits 2 seconds, sends another message. "I know Bob, wonder what he wants." So we're going to put these blocks in. Does it take pictures? It sure does. So between Red Boy and the two, there's some clues here, and then we get them to disappear. So you can see I've got them to hide. Now then, the tricky thing is making them appear at the correct times. So this is where you may need a whiteboard or something to write down how many seconds they're actually speaking for. So it's the total number, it's the total time that it takes between the conversations. So here, this is the first one. He says it for 4 seconds. Then he waits for 2 seconds. So obviously that is 6 seconds in total. Then Bob, then George is going to speak. So there needs to be some breaks between. Okay, now that you've managed to pause and have a look at and think about the times, if we just go into Red Boy here, at the end of when he arrives at level 2, I've told it to show, and he goes to a certain place, which is over in the corner. He switches to Red Boy 3 and points to the left, and broadcasts seagull message 1. Now then, while these are going on, you have to move these numbers around, these wait blocks, because they have to wait for there to be a reply between. Make sure we're going to push that out. So there's a reply between the two birds and Red Boy. So let's just go and double click on when I receive level 2. So before they were coming up at the same time. And all you've got to do is understand that who speaks first and says what. So they could say anything. You can make them say something completely different in yours. I need to know where to find the next block. George, does it take pictures? Haha, it takes pictures, alright. Movies too. Now that's okay if it's too fast, because the clue for the player is here. Okay? Then we can make Red Boy go and move, and maybe turn around somewhere, and then we're going to tell the player that it has to be in one of these cameras. Okay, so I'm ready to make the next sprite. If I just go into Red Boy, you can see that Red Boy is over there now, and I've done this in 2 blocks, in 2 moves. So I made him glide up and then over. So I'll just show you what this looks like. There, so I made him glide and glide, and then over here I've made him turn and face to the right. You can see that I've made another sprite here called Camera 1. This is Camera 1 over here. If I pick this block up, I did exactly the same as I did before in part 2. Go and paint a new sprite, click on the swatch, and then choose this colour, and just matched it, try to match it as best I could. If I bring my block over, bring this paint editor over, what I did was match this colour here with the colour of the camera. Made a block, there, put it into Camera 1. Before we do anything here, we've got to, when I receive level 2, we're going to go and looks, show, and then obviously when I receive level 3, we're going to hide it because we don't want it to be in the way. Okay, that's just to double check and make sure that it will hide when my character is now looking for the camera. What I can do is duplicate it, and it's just appeared here. Drop that on there, and drop this one down here on there. So then they're very, very well camouflaged. I'm going to go and rename that Camera 2. So this will be Camera 1, Camera 2, and then we're going to go and add some scripts that we want on here that we had in these blocks too. So the scripts that we had in here, they all did various things, if you remember, while they were in here, giving clues as to and points as to what to do next. In here we're also going to put some broadcasts in, so that we're going to do something to the background, and then that'll be the very end, and you'll have to go and finish the game yourself. We're going to do that in the next part. Thank you.